welcome back. It's a Wednesday edition of Liquid Lunch on Newsmax TV. I'm John Tobacco, and we always try to bring you the best guests, so a whole range of guests, red, blue, purple, women, men. The other day we had a man and a woman at the same time, transgender. Yeah, everyone's welcome here. But I especially love when we have these Gen Z, these younger people that are really in touch with what's going on. And joining us again today, she's been on many times, is Pavlina Osta. And Pavlina is a Gen Z social commentator. She's a producer for Salem Communications, and now the host of one of the fastest growing podcasts out there, If God Had a Podcast. So thank you for joining us again, Pavlina.
Thank you for having me on, John. I love coming to visit you guys.
You do?
Yes.
Okay. I know you just were on a whirlwind tour, because I follow you on social media, and your array of outfits was matched only by the array of places that you went, and you seems like you went to all these great places. What's your observations in this time of how the other countries that you were in are viewing us here in America?
Yeah, well, actually, I just got back from vacation. I went to Paris for a week. It was amazing. Unfortunately, I only stayed in Paris. Like, I wanted to try to do like a day in Brussels, a day in Rome, but I just wanted to really immerse myself in the whole like Paris scene. So I stayed there. But the topic that we're kind of talking about today, this whole vaping situation. Smoking is a big deal in France, as you know.
Well,
everyone knows.
smokes.
Of course,
they smoke and they sleep in France.
Yeah, basically, they have their. Some people here have those like snore machines. In France, they just have smoking machines. They're just constantly.
Really?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, one of the things we wanted to talk about today, because you're much more in touch with this, was this whole vaping epidemic. You have some states now talking about banning vapes completely because kids are dying, and now there's respiratory issues. I recently heard that there's just not enough science because they haven't been around long enough to know what the long-term effects are. What do kids your age think? They think it's okay?
So I think a lot of teenagers, and especially like young adults, are really into this whole vaping thing. They think it's cool, the flavors taste really good, and that's like a big problem because they are getting addicted to nicotine, and because that's happening, it's like causing a lot of like lung issues. A lot of them, like young teenagers and early 20-year-olds, are having, they're going to the hospital, they're vomiting, they're having breathing issues. It's really scary what's going on. And even the CEO of Juul was saying, if you're a non-smoker, stop vaping. Like, you should not be vaping. This is not for you. I even had a time with the Juul for like a little bit because I loved the creme brulee flavor. It was like dessert in my mouth.
You were never a smoker, yet you would vape?
It was good. It was fun.
So you've got to help me out in understanding this, because I don't know a parent of a Generation Zer that hasn't had some experience with their kids being involved in vaping.
Yeah.
If kids aren't smoking, what is the initial impetus for them to start vaping?
So I think a big thing of it, especially with social media, is the whole smoking, vaping culture. Oh my gosh, John, really?
No, now, is that an electronic cigar?
This is an electronic cigar.
Oh, of course.
It's not. It's a real cigar.
Well, there you go.
I thought, being I'm already a tobacco.
Yes.
I must be a tobacco user.
Yes.
John Juul doesn't have the same ring.
I see that as a lower third.
Yeah.
So, but now give us an idea of some of the health implications that we're hearing about, because one of the things that we would hear 3, 4, 5 years ago when this first started to explore is you'd see someone puffing on something and you'd say, well, wait a minute, you shouldn't be doing that, and say, oh, it's only water vapor, it's not harmful. What is the nature of the health problems and what's causing them?
Well, the biggest issue is, especially these people that are, vaping constantly, is they're getting vapor and water and that the vape juice, I guess is what you could call it, in their lungs. And that's a big issue because it's causing a lot of these breathing issues. And because Juul got rid of some of their signature flavors, which is why I stopped doing it, I was like, oh, well, now it's hard to get. I'm not going to do it.
I'm not going to be vaping anymore.
Exactly. I was
it's a very Parisian way to be. Oh, they've discontinued the creme brulee. Yeah. I'm not going to vape anymore.
Yeah, I was over it. I was like, well, that ended. But it is basically, like I said, that vape juice that's getting in your lungs. And of course, for a non-smoker, it's much better to do a Juul or an e-cigarette or one of those, because you're not getting all the harmful toxins and everything. But with this, with kids doing it, like they're getting a lot of knockoff brands, and the knockoff brands are making it harder to breathe. Like it's literally like it's doing something. Like all we really know is that it's filling the lungs with fluid that should not be there.
Well, there's some new research that's just coming out that inside these vapes and jewels, number one, it's one of the top things being knocked off by Chinese. They're counterfeiting. They're not actually jewels.
They're coming up with different flavors.
They're coming out with all these different flavors, but they're not actually jewels.
No.
They're knockoffs.
But they're compatible
they
with the
look,
jewel.
and they're compatible with the jewels. So the Chinese, we already know. They don't care what they put in us. So there's known to be now formaldehyde, and they're saying that there are metal and fiberglass particles being found inside of these kids' lungs that are coming in with these lung diseases. And I mean, in the Gen Z, I feel like some of these kids are a lot more enlightened now, right? There's so much more information and education out there.
They don't even drink whole milk.
They don't drink whole milk?
They don't drink whole milk.
Yeah.
What do they drink?
Almond milk, soy milk, oat milk. That's a huge thing.
Almond milk?
Yeah.
They actually make milk from almonds now?
Oh, yeah, you just crush them up. It's good.
You haven't lived till you've seen an almond cow.
Really?
Yes.
I would like to see an almond cow. That's a new one. So, Pavlina, let me ask you this. Aside from being an amazing radio producer for Salem and holding the Guinness Book of World Records for the most interviews, and I know that was taken from you recently. Didn't you tell me that the last time you were on? Someone defeated that, or?
I think I know. I still hold that.
You're still the holder of the Guinness Book of Records. Okay. And now. Tell me about If God Had a Podcast.
Yeah, so If God Had a Podcast, I started about a month ago. It was recently picked up by a network, and I'm very excited about that because they can put ads in it, and they can also distribute it, and it's a lot of fun. But yeah, it's been a really good time. I just love interviewing different people. When I grew up and I had my radio show, I interviewed a lot of different celebrities, and now I'm talking to a lot of researchers or just really interesting people because they have some kind of story or they did a TED Talk or something like that. So I've really been enjoying it.
I conflated my two favorite Guinness Book of World Records holders.
Yes.
As you know, Frank held the Guinness Book of World Records for some time on the longest continuous marathon of interviews.
We're gonna get it back.
And he was unseated.
I have to get back into playing.
I have both of you here. I'm so humbled by your greatness because I'm not in the Guinness Book of World Records for anything except forgetting people's names and interrupting them while they're talking. But you're also quite the fashion icon, and when I see your social media persona, you always have on these cool outfits, and they're kind of outstanding from the norm. You have a style all your own. Tell us about that cool jacket you're wearing there.
Thank you. I love fashion. It's just one of those things. I like to go thrifting. That's a big thing in Paris. If you guys ever go, hit up the vintage, thrift shops. It's a big deal over there. But any kind of, vintage designer, I'm just into it.
Is that a thrifted jacket, or?
This is a thrifted jacket, and it's like a military. I don't know the decade. It's probably 90s, but I think it's a Nicole Miller.
Oh, it looks like a marching band or something,
I thought it was fun.
Like a drummer in the band or something. Very cute.
Thank you.
I meant the jacket, of course. I want to thank Pavlina Osta. I often call her Pavlina Osta or Paulina because I have a friend Paulina. But I think I got almost everything right today, and you always get it right for us. Thank you, my friend, for coming on.
Much.
Give us an update on the Gen Z, and Pavlina's always here for us. Check her out on social media and go to find If God Had a Podcast. It's going to be great. It's going to be great right after this. Take a quick break. Back at you in 2 minutes.